Hello, YouTube. It's your friendly Grumpeteer, and I'm back again with a Steven University vlog. And today's episode is Keystone Motel and Ruby and Sapphire. so I can't get enough of Ruby and Sapphire. I'm still laughing, and I just watched the episode. I'm laughing like a goof. Um. Anyway, so this is a Ruby and Sapphire episode. Garnet diffused, obviously. Um, in this episode, uh, it starts off where, well, it doesn't start off where Cry for Help left off. It's implied that it's been a few days since Cry for Help because Pearl says she's been looking for Peridot for a few days, and Steven still sees that Pearl is very upset about lying to Garnet for the whole sardonyx thing. So Garnet's a little grumpy. She still refuses to talk to Pearl, and then Greg comes in, and he says that they should go on a road trip. He and Steven should go on a road trip to the Keystone State, which is shaped like a shaped like a state, an actual state. So I don't know if it's supposed to be like a joke or if it's an actual like if it's actually the state and they're just joking around with it. I'm not going to spoil what state it is because there's probably all kinds of conspiracies floating around about maybe Beach City is in this state or blah 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 blah. And I'm not even going to bother. I don't think it's just because Group 2, you don't know what state it is, you don't know Obama. Because I do. Okay, I went to second grade social studies. I know the shape of states. I know people are gonna have conspiracies about it, so I'd love to hear why you think that that state is here and there and anything. Anyway, there's gonna be conspiracies. So anyway, so Garnet wants to go with them. Garnet wants to go with Greg and Steven to the Keystone State to pick up some giant car wash scrubbers for Greg's car wash. So they get in the van, they're having a fun time, and they get to the motel, and Greg leaves to get the big scrubber things, and in there, Garnet's losing control of herself. She doesn't know if she should forgive Pearl, which is the sapphire side of her, or, stay mad at Pearl forever, which is the ruby side of her. And she just gets so mad at each other that, poof, she don't ruby and sapphire. This was me. Yes, that was. This is if you saw my jailbreak and my Keeping It Together review, you know how much I love Ruby and Sapphire, but we don't really get personalities for Ruby and Sapphire from Jailbreak or Keeping It Together. This is the one where we really see their personalities, interactions, a whole bunch of stuff we've wanted to see all along. So Sapphire has these ice powers, probably, to tie in with her patience, her coolness. Oh, I can see what you did there. And Ruby has sort of boom, bang, fire powers, sort of to go coincide with her rage emotions, which complement each other perfectly and make Garnet, of course. But Ruby, who I'm just gonna give you the story now, and then I'll talk about how, because I have a whole bunch of things I want to talk about, and we're already 3 minutes in to the vlog. So Ruby and Sapphire just can't get along. So Ruby storms outside into the motel pool, and Steven goes to talk to her, and Ruby's just pacing back and forth in the water, and because of her hot-headedness, the water starts to boil. So Steven goes back into the room, but Sapphire's made it frigid, cold conditions in there with her icy powers. So Steven, he pretty much can't do anything. So he goes out. Greg's there, and Greg apparently knows that Garnet's a fusion. I don't think we knew that. Greg knew, but I don't know. It's probably, well, one could assume that Greg would know, because of the scene in When We Need to Talk, where Garnet puts her glasses down and we see all three eyes. That could be implying that she's a fusion, but if that's not it, then it's obvious that Garnet just told him sometime that's a fusion, or Rose did. So anyway, the two, Garnet not Garnet. Ruby, Sapphire, Greg, and Steven all go to the world's greatest diner the next day to, just kind of, sort things out and have some breakfast. But Ruby and Sapphire, they're still not getting along. And when Ruby just destroys the table with her glove thing, which I'm a little disappointed we didn't get a better view of what her glove looks like because it's just up like this. I mean, I was just I was just looking at it, from how they showed in the episode. I haven't seen any screenshots of it yet, so I'll probably get a better look at it then. But I'm guessing that because if Ruby's the one with the future vision, um, then I'm guessing that's her. Like when you have Opal, no, not Opal, I guess. When you a better analogy probably for this week is when you have Sardonyx, you have Garnet's uh, fist bumps of fury, and you have Pearl's staff, and they make a hammer together. But it doesn't seem that Sapphire yet has anything that would contribute to Garnet's gloves with the spikes and the star. Ruby has a glove, but it's not. Ruby has like a glove like that, but it doesn't have any of the attributes that Garnet's does. But that there's probably a future episode of that. So anyway, Ruby smashing the table is the final straw for Steven. He can't take it anymore. He just wanted to have a fun time, but wherever he goes, it seems that anger seems to follow him, and he wonders, is it him? Is it me? Am I the one going crazy? But it's not. He's probably not the problem. I think Pearl's probably the problem, but I still love Pearl anyway. So Ruby and Sapphire see their wrongs. They do this. It's so cute to do this scene. Oh, I am losing so many man points for this episode, but they do just the cutest little thing. They do this cute little thing, and they just they act all romantic-y and stuff, and then they form back into Garnet. Everything's fine and dandy. So Greg, Steven, and the newly formed Garnet all go back home. And Garnet, even though she pretty much just says, "Don't talk to me, Pearl," does talk to Pearl by saying that, and Pearl feels a little more at ease with the situation after an interaction like that. And then Greg says, "No more road trips." So I really liked this episode. I wouldn't say it's a good episode. It's a good episode. I wouldn't say it's a great episode because outside of a great episode would have to be outside of the self-contained storyline of a show. It's really really good. So many birthdays, or we need to talk. Something like that. Something like that. So this isn't an amazing episode out of context, but in context, it is perfect. Ruby and Sapphire, two characters we don't individually know, are given so much personality through their just little interactions. Ruby's interactions and emotions are done in a super funny, overreacting, overly animated kind of out of character model. Kind of like in the Cheeseburger Backpack episode where everybody, twists and turns and bends. It's like an old Tom and Jerry cartoon. Ruby's all, "Ooh, ah!" Pretty much the entire episode. She's like, "Why is that blah, 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 out of my kitchen, Ronnie?" And stuff like that. And it's her, she's just hilarious the entire episode. With her, either it's her at the table, pretty much just biting on the table, or her just storming around, flailing her arms, or just sitting into. Or there's just one scene where she's sitting into the booth at the restaurant. She's like, it's every single scene she's in is just hilarious, and the same and in off those coattails. Every scene Sapphire's in is also very, very funny, with Sapphire's future vision, which we find out comes from the one eye on her forehead. She only has one eye, which has a pupil and an iris, which I noticed. A lot of people say that only fusions can have pupils with irises, but Ruby has an eyeball with a pupil and an iris in it. Most of the characters in the show who are in fusions, and also gems, have little black dots as their eyeballs. I I don't know if that's gonna strike us some conspiracies. I know it will, but I know there's a big one floating around that if a gem has a iris and a pupil, then they're pretty much a fusion. That's the whole Jasper fusion theory, but that's total bogus. That's bogus. I'm gonna call it now, and I know it's probably gonna be confirmed in a later episode because it's actually a really strong theory. But I'm just gonna call it bogus now. So anyway, Sapphire has some really funny scenes. Since she can predict everything, pretty much everything Steven does, she's just like, yeah, I knew you were gonna do that. So there's some pretty funny lines in there. And a lot of the comedy, I'm surprised, comes from just saying the line in response to other things, and that's probably what makes it funny. Like every single time she says the same thing to Steven's response, it's still funny. It's pretty funny. Pretty much overall, just an amazing character study episode. I'll give you that. It shows relationships, even ones that are literally perfect, like make a perfect. Okay, this isn't really a relatable thing to say for relationships, but a literally perfect relationship that can form a giant woman can have trouble because all relationships have troubles. And just seeing Ruby and Sapphire interact is just everything the fans wanted. And there's just the right amount of heart with, Steven and Greg having a fun time here and there. A whole bunch of funny jokes about what a motel is and how, run down everything in a motel is. And and I can't believe how adorable that scene at the end is where they fuse back into Garnet. It's just an amazing everything and an amazing episode. And if this is what so far this is the strongest Steven bomb yet. I mean, Steven Bomb 1, Day 2 was... I don't remember what Day 2 was on Steven Bomb 1. What was it? Rose's... Scab? Okay, no. Well, I can remember last Steven Bomb, Sworn to the Sword, and then Rising Tides and Crashing Skies. But so far, this is turning out to be the best consistent Steven Bomb yet, so I hope it doesn't slow down anytime soon. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, because then you can fuse into a Garnet. Oh, funny joke!